everyone. My name is Selena Madrid, Public Information Officer for the Las Cruces Police Department, and we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for our monthly segment of Bridging the Badge. Today we are going to spotlight a program that has been making a big impact in our community, the Las Cruces Park Ranger program. A really big deal for the city. They have been out on their own independently for about a month now, so we are excited to be joined by one of our police officers, Officer Palos, who you see right here, and he actually helped trained our 4 park rangers, one of them to include Park Ranger Armand. So we're so excited to have you here today with us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So we do want to warn you, viewer discretion is advised. We're going to go through a plethora of body camera footage directly from Park Ranger Armand, who has been out on the ground, like I said, independently for about a month now, not to show any shame, but to educate and be transparent. But before we get to that, we do want to familiarize you guys, if you are just joining us, or if you're just learning about the Park Ranger program, about what it entails. So let's talk about it. Talk to us a little bit about your job.
Right. So as a park ranger, I patrol all of the parks in Las Cruces. Of course, some parks get more attention than others, but we are out on foot 7 days a week, interacting with the public. And if somebody's in the park doing something they shouldn't be doing, we address it immediately. And I think we'll see in some of the videos if people need medical attention or some other sort of intervention in an emergency, we're there as well.
Absolutely. And Officer Palos, you actually were one of the officers who was out there on the ground for several weeks training Park Ranger Armand and the 3 other park rangers. Can you talk to us a little bit about that experience? And then can you also talk about the transition from going from being with an officer all the time to being out on your own?
Well, it was a very interesting one. I'll start with that because this is a very new program and we kind of just hit the ground running with it. Initially, they started off with our code sections, our codes enforcement officers, kind of educating them with a lot of the administration side as far as paperwork and all the fun stuff that we like to do. Once we got a hold of them, it was more of the field training stuff. We got them, we take them out to the different parks around the city and we watched them as they engaged the public and everything else that they would encounter while at the parks. But like I said, it's a rapidly evolving position and we're learning as we go. But the primary focus of our training was to ensure officer safety at all times. At the end of the day, when their shift is over, we want them to go back home to their families.
And Park Ranger Armand, why did you want to be a park ranger? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So it's really important for me to be of service to the public. And I've done that before in prior work. I used to be a teacher in Texas and in New Mexico. And I really feel strongly that people need safe places to gather. I think parks and outdoor spaces, they provide opportunities for young people to stay out of trouble, to do recreational activities, and to spend time with their families. And so I think kind of summatively in a long-term perspective, improving the parks is going to improve like a lot of aspects in Las Cruces.
Absolutely. And the transition, let's talk about that, because being out with an officer every single day for training is much different than being out on your own. How are you feeling? What have the interactions been like?
Well, I think we were well prepared. I think our training was done really well and mindfully for what authority we do have in the parks. And I think we were trained pretty well in addressing issues safely. And it's just kind of a matter of gaining experience in this role as it grows.
Absolutely. All right, let's begin. Before we show you these body camera footages, we do want to let you know, like I said, viewer discretion is advised. We're going to start out at Lions Park. Is Lions Park a pretty big hotspot for the kind of stuff that we're seeing our officers respond to?
Well, Lions Park, unfortunately, is kind of in an area where there's a lot of abandoned houses. And unfortunately, a lot of the unhoused and people have taken occupancy in these houses that go all the way up from Van Patten to 2nd. And so there's a lot of traffic coming from these houses to the parks, to the convenience stores that are kind of adjacent to these parks as well. And the fence that's surrounding Lions Park has been cut and tampered with like multiple times. So you have a lot of walkways that have been established from people just trying to stay out of the view of the public, stay off the main streets, main sidewalks. So it is a concern. And kind of going back to the bathroom thing, like that was one of the big training points that we wanted to make, because we see on social media that people, that's one of the biggest complaints, is they cannot use a bathroom at a park because there's somebody in there consuming narcotics. So that was the one big thing we wanted to do. When they get boots on ground, go clear the bathrooms, make sure they're safe for others.
Absolutely. And we want to watch a piece of body camera footage, specifically from Lions Park. It seems like you guys do a lot of welfare checks out there too. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And then also brief everyone who's watching at home on what they're about to see.
So we do a lot of welfare checks. Patrolling from park to park to park, we'll very regularly see people lying down on the ground or at benches. And as far as a welfare check goes, we'll simply approach them and make sure that they're okay. Most of the time they are, but as we'll see in this video, sometimes they're not. And in this particular video, you'll notice that this man, he has an open container of alcohol next to him. And of course, you can't be drinking or possessing alcohol in an open container at the park, but our main priority is welfare. We're not just out there punitively enforcing laws. We are, making sure that people are okay. So before anything else, I got this man medical attention.
And just a compassionate approach too that all of our officers, I know, really try to take out in the field to try to connect with people in these sad situations, because for the most part, these people need help. And that's what you guys are really trying to do, connect to resources, establish connections, see if there's any way that you can help them. Safety first, right?
Yes. And, you'll notice in the video, before I even interact with him, I do kind of walk around him. That's something that, given the opportunity, is a good safety measure. We can see if there are if there's any kind of harmful object in their immediate control or on their person. And in this case, there wasn't. So I approach him, I am able to kind of stir him awake, and as soon as he is conscious, he asked for medical attention. And so, of course, I got Fire 55 out.
And you can see too, you have patrol officers coming out to assist the situation. Officer Paulus, can you talk about that and just the collaboration between the park rangers and the patrol officers also on the streets?
So when the park rangers make the request for fire and ambulance service, that's what he meant when he said 55 was an ambulance. We will respond, we'll ensure that they don't have any weapons on their person, because it's kind of a requirement prior to the fire department to engage with them and to ensure that the scene is safe for them.
And what did this man tell you? What was the end result of this situation?
So when this man spoke to me, he told me that he was in pain on his side. He also told me that he fell and he did want medical attention. When these other officers arrived, he told them that he was depressed, and shortly after they arrived and the scene was deemed cleared and secure, the ambulance arrived and they did take him to the hospital. And you can see he has, in the video, you can see he has a few hospital bracelets on his wrist already. And that really raised concerns from a welfare perspective, checking on this individual, because like I've said before, there's a bottle of alcohol next to him, but I don't know if that's his first bottle or if he's mixed the alcohol with other drugs. And really, I was just concerned for his well-being. And so I'm glad I was there and I was able to get an ambulance to him.
And Officer Paulus, can you touch on this? Because this is a question that I as a mother have. Is it okay for people to go take a nap in the park like that? What's allowed, what's not allowed, and what do we want the public to know?
So as far as taking a nap in the park, I mean, it's a public place. So yes, they're more than welcome to do that, but you have to draw a line when it comes to like safety, if they're creating a safety nexus for the general public. So it's one of our big driving points when we're training them. Like, yes, you can't just kick somebody out the park, but if they're asleep and around them are syringes, you got foil, burnt foil from the use of narcotics, and it's scattered around next to the playground, then that is more of a reason to have that person leave the area, because they're creating that safety nexus for the general public, and especially kids.
All right, let's now go out to Young Park. Young Park, one of the bigger community parks here in our city, probably the biggest, right? And, obviously, this is a great place for families to go and enjoy time with their kids. You got the pond, you got multiple parks out there for them to utilize and play on, and playgrounds. But let's talk about what's happening here. This is actually some type of physical altercation that you're helping put a stop to, and the de-escalation tactics that you used.
Yes. So in this video, it's hard to tell because I'm running across the parking lot. But there was a fight or an affray between a man and a woman, and when I approached, the man started getting up, and his dog ran at me. And for my own safety, I did draw my taser. But the affray, my presence running over, and the way that the Axon body cameras work, you can't hear me shouting commands as I'm running over. But I do break up the affray, and I have the man sit on the ground. I have the woman take control of the dog, and I separate the two. The woman had told me that she had been struck multiple times in the face by him, and they were traveling together and physically fighting.
And how are you alerted about this situation?
So I was not alerted. This was something that I encountered on a frequent patrol. So I self-initiated, and I'm the one that called out other officers.
And let's talk about this, because I think that's very important to note. Chief Story has been very open about, his vision for this. And that's one of the things that he talks about all the time is self-initiating. We want people out there, park rangers out there, to get eyes on something before a 911 call even has to be made. And then that situation escalates even more. So without you there, who knows what could have happened? This woman could have potentially been extremely hurt, could have potentially lost her life. So can we talk a little bit about that? And I don't know if you want to touch on that as well, just taking action, having eyes out there on the ground, self-initiating, and helping out and helping respond to these calls.
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example. This call alone, I mean, he did exactly what this program is intended to deter a criminal act from happening. And I think it's a great thing because, I mean, looking at it, you could see clearly there was a female on the ground and a male would appear to be battering her. So, mission accomplished on this. He separated them, and of course, patrol will respond, and they'll address the situation and take further action.
And at the end of the day, do you remember what exactly happened here? Was that man taken into custody?
I think this didn't really end the way a lot of people would have liked it to. Both people denied that they were any sort of relationship and or domestic relationship, and they declined to press charges on each other. So the man was not taken into custody, nor the woman, and they were kind of released to go about their night.
Did you want to touch on that and just, how that works?
Well, yes, I know at face value, it appears that it's a domestic relationship and there's a domestic battery occurring, but once the officers do their further investigation, they can make the determination, okay, either party are in any kind of relationship whatsoever, so it's no longer become domestic, it's a simple battery. So when it's a simple battery, the two people involved have the option of pursuing charges against one another, and if neither want to pursue charges, then it is what it is. However, a report will be generated in case something was to evolve from this particular incident.
So in that body camera footage that you guys just saw, we did see Park Ranger Armand pull his taser out. He talked to us through that and how it was for his safety. Did you want to touch on that and just that scenario and why you chose to pull your taser out?
Yes. So, it's a serious matter when you use a show of force. and I did draw my taser for my own safety due to just the totality of the circumstance. There was a violent man getting up not too far from me, and his dog was running up to me, and I thought it was an appropriate measure to draw my taser, and I didn't have to use it or even arc it as a warning.
Did you want to touch on that, Officer Paulus?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what I had mentioned before. Objective is for them to go home safe at the end of the night. And he did exactly that by demonstrating a show of force, which not only kept him out of harm's way, but also kept further battery from occurring. So like I said, it worked out for everybody involved.
And we want to watch the next body camera footage now to show you another welfare check that was conducted by you. Here we have somebody sleeping at a park. Did you want to brief our viewers on what exactly this is? We see another park ranger alongside you. I know that sometimes, you guys cross paths out in the field, and it's good to connect with one another and help each other when you can respond to a call.
Yes. So here I'm with Park Ranger Holguin, and when we can meet up or when we are going to address people, of course, going in a pair is just a common safety practice. This woman, this is at Jason Hiron Park, and you can see that she's near a bunch of homes, and she was kind of lying under this tree. And from a distance, it was even hard to tell that was a person. So again, it's really important that we are out there on foot. But as we approached, we could see that she was unconscious there.
So we can see you guys walking around her, and the interaction you make with this woman. It's very short, but nothing really happened. You guys just wanted to make sure that this woman was okay.
Yes, and that happens pretty often in our day-to-day. We'll find someone that is asleep on the ground or against a building or on a bench, and we will, for our own safety, we'll kind of walk around them and observe if they have anything dangerous in their immediate control. And assuming they don't, we'll try to wake them up. And if they don't wake up, it's a problem, and they may need medical attention. But very often they do wake up, and we just assure them that we were checking on their well-being, and we go on our way.
Let's talk about graffiti now, because that can be such an eyesore on a beautiful park, especially when you have kids playing and there could be cuss words and just a bunch of foul language written on pieces of community space. And so here, a clip that you're going to look at now was Park Ranger Armand. He was at Unidad Park. You can see him walking up, and you can see graffiti here. Did you want to talk about the measures that you took to get this removed?
This body cam footage is kind of expressly documentation of this graffiti. So I went around the park, and using the Axon body camera, I did document instances on these children's play structures. And I was able to use this image or these images to relay and report this graffiti to Parks and Rec administration, and this was all abated the very next day. So it's very important that we document and report this. And us being in the parks every single day, we notice when something is new. And we can be kind of first responders for that as well.
That's so important too, just to know, to have that extra set of eyes out. What has the response been like from some of the families, parents, community members that you've been talking to when it comes to your guys' presence out there?
It's been really positive. I've gotten a lot of, I suppose, gratitude from parents with their children in the parks, whether it's like at Unidad, which is notably like a children's park, or at Young, where there's a lot for everybody of all ages, and people are generally happy to see us. And I think the only people that aren't happy to see us, they may be doing things they shouldn't be doing in the parks.
Yeah.
Yes, we've actually experienced that when we were walking in the park one day. Like people were coming up and saying, "Hey, thank you for being out here. We really appreciate it." But at the same time, you can see the people that are there for criminal purposes automatically get eyes on them, and they just immediately leave the park, which is what we want.
That's the goal, right? To try to prevent crime, but to also connect. We've documented, I've been out there with you guys and seeing some of the stuff that y'all do, and really just connecting with families too, kids too. You guys have stickers that you give out. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? You want families to talk to you. You guys want to be a welcoming you guys want to be welcoming out in the community.
Yeah, our presence isn't just security, and it's not just punitive enforcement of the law. At Young Park, we have a lot of rapport built up already, where I've helped young people with their fishing rods, and we've thrown around the football, and we give young children stickers, and we get a chance to talk to the parents, and they genuinely are happy that we're there. And I think rightfully so, because there are some issues at these parks, and we address them.
Speaking of Young Park, let's move on to our next body camera footage. We want to talk about it. So this next piece of video that you're going to take a look at is at Young Park. You can see it's right there toward the entrance of the park on the left side. And did you want to brief the people watching Park Ranger Armand on what they're about to see here?
So this is a Young Park near the tennis courts. I noticed that a man was kind of lying in this little valley. And I think that's a little unusual to just be kind of passed out there. So I went for a welfare check on the man. And, like we always do for our own safety, we kind of walk around and observe the immediate area.
Hey, brother. Hello.
There was just trash around him. So while I'm walking around, I speak to him a little bit, and I speak up, and he was just asleep.
You're okay?
But I think it's important for us to be out there doing that, because again, they're not always okay, and sometimes they do need help when they're when they're unconscious in an unusual spot. This man, he was just resting there, and I spoke with him. I assured him I was just checking on his well-being. He wasn't doing anything wrong besides maybe having his trash around, but he did agree to pick it up, and he did pick it up.
Once again, like you mentioned, building rapport. And you guys also have access to community advocates who can connect these people who are in need to resources. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So very often we will speak with people that use narcotics, and they have drug dependencies. And numerous times, even just within our first month out on our own, we've called out the advocates to meet with them. And the advocates, they're able to make arrangements for rehabilitation services. They can also help connect them to the other city resources concerning housing and food and employment. So it is really important that we're talking with people, and that's something that we go out of our way to do.
And let's talk about hygiene kits, because that's something that you guys also pass out, right?
Yes. The community advocates, they've done a really great job of putting together hygiene kits that contain multiple pairs of socks, washcloths, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a few other things. And we do distribute these to people that need them. And that goes a long way in building rapport. And with that rapport built, we're doing kind of two things at once. We're helping them immediately, but also maybe making a relationship where we can connect them with greater services to help them with like underlying issues.
Absolutely. And Officer Palos, let's talk about the community outreach unit with Las Cruces Police. Not a lot of people know about how much you guys do, but you guys really do so much. And this really all ties in with what the park rangers are trying to do too as well. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, this is true. That was one of our big emphasis too, was, they're going to be the boots on ground. They're going to have interaction with a lot of the unhoused that are taking refuge at some of the parks. And, we encourage them to talk to them, get to know them. If there's any kind of resources that we can get them in touch with, let's make it happen. So it was a big driving point. We encouraged the carrying the hygiene kits, bottled water, that goes a long way as well. Along with our community advocates, for whatever reason, it's something that we can't handle. Our community advocates will also reach out with the Community of Hope and their outreach team, who we work with, hand in hand, and they're an amazing resource to have.
Absolutely. The last body camera video that we want to show you is an illegal campsite. Do we see a lot of illegal campsites in our parks?
Unfortunately, yes, we do.
Let's talk about that and the magnitude of what they are. What we're seeing right here, Officer Armand, Park Ranger Armand, responding to this illegal campsite. You can see what it looks like, a tent set up. This seems like a smaller campsite, but from what I've heard is there's some pretty big ones that people put out in our parks.
Yes. And that was kind of one of the things we explained to them, that they're going to come across that a lot, and how they go about it. It's the thing is, we want to show compassion, but we also have to enforce some laws and some rules.
Yeah. So this happened at Valley View Park, and this woman, fortunately, I've had good encounters with her before, and we've kind of built rapport. I've spoken with her, and I've given her hygiene kits, and of course, she's illegally camping in the park, almost in somebody's backyard, and I think that our rapport went a long way. I've spoken with her and given her hygiene kits, and we've built some rapport. So very fortunately, in this circumstance, it was resolved through a quick conversation.
And she seemed to be very open to picking up her stuff and leaving, but it's not always like that.
No, it's not. You
mentioned earlier about a fire. Can you talk a little bit about that in that instance?
Well, at this same park, there was a unhoused individual that took up residency right next to a playground. She had removed a post from the ground that was used to keep vehicles from entering the park and put it inside the grill and lit it afire. She also removed a plastic garbage can from the metal garbage, cans that are established in the park, had it next to the fire, and it was already catching fire as we got there. Unfortunately, this park has had a history of fires. That playground that she was set up next to had caught fire and completely burned down the ground. So this is a fairly new playground equipment. So it was something that we had to address immediately.
And what about people to know about illegal campsites?
You cannot camp in the city parks. You can't be overnight. The park hours are, in general, they're from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Unless posted otherwise. I know some parks do go to 11:30 or maybe 10. So check the signs posted at your park, and if there are no signs posted, the only hours you can be in the park without trespassing are 5 a.m. to 11 p.m.
And we always like to remind people too, if you see something, say something, because at the end of the day, you guys can't be in different places all at once. So we encourage people, if you see something that looks suspicious, to call 911, and then the dispatcher can send a park ranger out there, correct?
That is correct.
Did you want to touch on that?
It's very important. I know a lot of times people feel like they're inconveniencing dispatch or the officers, but for data collection and for us to respond better to a hotspot area, it's imperative that people make those calls.
And I think we just want to remind people too, if you see our park rangers out there, to go say hi to them. That's what you guys want, is to connect, right?
Yeah, so we want to speak to everybody in the parks. If you're, a parent with a child, or you're there for like a sport, maybe you're there fishing, whatever it is, we'd be happy to talk to you. And if you have any concerns, please, tell us. And it's not going to fall on deaf ears. We do address these concerns.
And I think that's something that Chief Story too has been very open about. You guys do want to hear the concerns of the public and the community members who are using these spaces. So whatever that may be, they can go to you. And if you need extra assistance, you have plenty of officers like you, Officer Balos, who are willing to help, right?
Yep. There are eyes and ears. So they see a lot of stuff that we don't, especially a lot of times they're working the weekend. So when we come back Monday, it's like, hey, we have this issue at this park. Can you help us address it? And then we get involved.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to add?
I think it is important to, like you said, if you see something, say something. I think a great example of this would be Burn Lake, where several residents, they have continuously communicated what they've seen. And because of that, we've been able to address it. And Burn Lake has, even just in the last month or so, become a much safer place because we've been getting these calls to address issues. So when you see something in the park, it really is good to call for it because it will get addressed.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank both of you guys for being here, having this important conversation with us today. You and I are parents, so we know firsthand just how important safety is when it comes to our parks. We want to be able to take our kids to our parks to play and to be able to enjoy it and to feel safe. And that's exactly what you're doing, Park Ranger Armand. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're out of time for this month's Bridging the Badge. We want to hear any topics that you would be interested in us talking about, bringing guests on to speak about. So feel free to message us on Las Cruces Police's social media platforms. We hope everyone stays safe.